Okay, students, so what we're going to run through here for this video is an explanation of how you can get all of your Notability files from last year backed up and then your iPad set up with Notability ready to go for this year. Now, before I even get started, and teachers, this is probably something worth hearing for you as well. Uh, there are a few steps in here to make this happen, so it can be a little bit tricky. So stick with me here. We'll try to do it, and then at the end, we'll have a checklist that has all of the steps listed for you so that you can go and do it with that as well. I'd like you to see it once first, and then it's something you can do and you can work with after the fact. Okay? So let's start with this. In Notability, let's say you have all of your subjects over here, and I don't really have a lot on this specific iPad. I just have a couple dummy items here. And with these items, you want to back them up, and really you should keep them, and that's one of the beautiful things about having Google Drive and having this electronic device. You can keep all the notes electronically without actually having to keep them in any space, let's say, and they're not taking up any room in your house, for instance. Now, what you would have done in the past to set this up, and I just clicked on the settings wheel down here, what you would have done in the past is you would have gone to Manage Accounts, and you would have set up Google Drive, right? And then you would have turned on an auto backup. So to remind you here, your auto backup last year, you were told, and I don't know if you did or not, but you were told to create a Notability backup folder. So how can we make it so that we keep all of these notes, and then we also set it up so that we can have a new year so we don't have to have all of our old notes sitting over here in the way? That is something we can do, and let's go through the steps. Now, actually, the first step that we're going to take here is going to be to make sure that everything is backed up currently. And you can see in the bottom here that it does say backing up, and that's good. That's what we would like to have happen. Now, what we're going to do next here is we're actually going to switch. So I'm going to switch over to Google Drive. Because what I would like to do now is I would like to create a new backup folder. So right here is my Notability backup folder. There's a different one that I've used for a different video here. But I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this folder Notability. We're going to call it Backup, and then we're going to call this 2016-2017. Oh, apparently back is not spelled correctly there. It's still not spelled correctly. Okay, so let's create that folder. So now I have this folder created, okay? And that's good. So now I'm going to go back, and this is pretty simple. So I did first here, and by the way, we just went to Google Drive, and we just created a new folder that can serve as the backup to this, okay? Pretty straightforward. Now, what we're going to do next is I'm going to come in, and I'm going to make sure this is all backed up first, right? So we already had it backed up. We can push close. If we did back it up already, it will have backed up, and we know that it already did because we set that up before. So now we can do two different steps here. Number one, we can delete all of our old notes, okay? So I can actually just come over here to a whole content area and push delete, okay? And if I push delete this divider, it's going to delete the whole thing. Then I'll just come over to the other one, push delete, and I'm good to go. I'm going to leave these here so I don't lose the files that I have on this one for now. Even though there are a few, there's still some things I don't want to lose there. So that's easy, right? We did that first part. Now let's create our new backup. So how would we do that? Well, simply stated, we're going to now come back in, choose our settings wheel, and by the way, the reason we're going to choose the backup now is because we only wanted to back up the things that we want to be in this backup for this school year. That's why we're doing it in this specific order. So what I'm going to do now, I'm already logged in to Google Drive here, as you can see, because it says log out. I'm going to go into my auto backup. I'm going to choose Google Drive. And then what I can do is just say, let's change the location. So now it's saying, okay, pick the folder that you want to save it to. If you remember correctly, I just created this folder called Notability Backup 2016-2017. Once I choose that, I can then come in here, and at the bottom it says Backup to Notability Backup 2016-2017. That's perfect. That's where I want this all to go. I can choose that. Now it's saying which subjects do you want to back up, and this would include everything you have. You can just leave it as is, and as you add in new folders, we'll come back and double check to make sure they're still there. We wanted to do this as a PDF, not as a note, and there are a lot of reasons for that. But we will leave it there. we're good. Let's just push settings, push close. And then now what we have done is we've set up a new backup, which is a good thing, right? So that's setting up the backup. Now, in case you don't remember here, let's just do a real quick creation of the things that we need to make. So the first thing that I did is I clicked on the plus and I chose a divider because we want to create a new divider for each subject area now for this new school year. So I'll type in science first. There we go. And then I might say, let's pretend I'm in 7th grade. In my subject within science, we could say the first is going to be the light unit. That's maybe what I want to put there. Let's say that I had another subject and it was called physics. I'm just making this up. But let's pretend that these are units. What we're really looking to do is within each subject area to have our units, right? Now, one of the other things that we want to talk about in this training that's really important to talk about too is organization, especially organization of homework and of materials of that sort. So what I'm going to do here is I want to create, and I'm going to include an attachment in case this is of interest to you. Now let me be clear before I get too far. Many of you already have your own way of organizing your homework, right? There are many of you who have done that very effectively. Some of you buy your own planners and calendars, and you can mark it on there with paper and pencil. Some of you like to use Google Calendars or reminders. For those of you who don't have an idea as to how you're going to keep up with things, let me present one to you within Notability. So what I think we should do here is we can create a new divider, and we're going to call this divider homework. So we can call this homework, and we can even, if you would like, let's create a subject, and we can just call it first 9 weeks. So what we have there now is this first 9 weeks homework listing, okay? So what we can do is we can bring in a new note. Now, you could just come up here if you would like and just create your own note and just, call it, let's see, we could call it HW week of, let's see, August, oh boy, I'm losing my brain here. I think it's August 29th. So homework week of August 29th. So you could call it that, and then if you would like, you can just type in whatever you need. So math, and you could type in your own things. What we do have, though, that I'd like to share is a specific PDF. Okay, so what I want to show you now is a sheet that you can use to keep track of your homework if you would like, and you could just create a new copy of this each week, and that would be something potentially really helpful for you overall. But I'm going to bring in this weekly homework sheet, push open, and there we go. So now what I have in here in Notability is an area where I can either, if I would like to type in or write in, I can come in and input my homework for the week. So let's see, so this is Monday math, so it might be odds 1 through 31 of section 1-5, okay? You could do that if you would like. If you would like to take a picture of the homework board, you could put it in here at the bottom. You could take a screenshot of the homework board from the website. You could even take a picture of your teacher's board, add it into a note. But nonetheless, what you're going to get here, though, if we put this all into perspective now, is you can come in now and put this into your first 9 weeks, and then you can just always have a running total of what your homework was for the individual weeks, which again can be extremely, extremely helpful to you overall. So it's not to say that that is the only strategy to use, but we wanted to give you one that you could consider as a way to help keep up with the work that you're doing in your class and to make sure that you don't lose track of it if you are trying to do so electronically. And again, Notability is just one way to do that. So in short here, with Notability, we want to make sure that this is fully set up. We want to make sure that you know how to back it up. And we also want to make sure that you have some way of keeping up with your homework. If you are struggling and you need some organizational ideas, please feel free to stop down on a smart desk. Let me know if I'm ever around in your building, and we can set up a time where we can really help you to develop a plan for keeping up with your work. But it's important to keep organized, and even though an iPad has everything there on it, you still do want to organize things appropriately. You don't just want to leave them on there and hope you can search and find it, because that's not really a good strategy to use overall. Okay, so that was our quick little training here on Notability and organization in general electronically. All right, have a great day.